Hello foodies and welcome back to FUT in Review, powered by footcoaching.com. Today we are recording episode 445. We are currently still recording one time a week, and next week will be the last time we'll do that. And then we'll return to the full-fledged version of our podcast 3 times a week, fully back again. On the arrival of FIFA23 and starting September 1st, we can actually talk about our experiences. So that's going to be really interesting. Of course, this is all made possible by you, our listeners, our viewers, and especially our Patreon supporters. And go check out patreon.com/FUT in Review, because we've added a whole bunch of extras, including the FUT Coaching Club, which is a meeting once a month where we gather all the coaches, gather all the pro players we can get, and we'll talk FIFA with our supporters on that specific tier. And of course, a special shout out to our Patreon supporters in the Skybox tier. That is Reese, Amar, Archum, Daniel, and of course Nick. They support us in the highest tier available, and they keep us going. My name is John, and I'll be your host today. And today we'll be talking about preseason, because it did arrive 17 minutes after we published our podcast last week. That was all about it being postponed. We talk about the top 100 players being unpacked. And of course, where is the 85 times 10 Unlimited Edition? I am luckily not alone today. Looking from the other side of the pond, it's none other than Chris Grandpapa Mac, the Coach Slayer, also known as a teddy bear. And apparently that coach slaying title is going to get a waist shirt. So, Chris, looking sharp, and good to have you on the show again.
It's great to be on, mate. It's been a long time since you and I have done a show. And for the people who are watching our video, you'll see that I am rocking the retro kit. And John has the new one. Look at those guns on him. Ryan posted mine. And actually, Ryan and I are the closest people in their pro teams to each other, and I believe that the shirts made it to Texas, and I'm still waiting for mine in Edinburgh.
Yeah, so we sent the shirts on Monday, and it arrived on Thursday in Texas. 2 weeks later, it's not on the other side of the country.
Yeah, so, yeah, the Royal Mail's done me there, so I don't know what's happened. So fingers crossed I get it soon.
We'll get it one day. But thus far, it does look cool having the old kits and the new FUT coaching kits on screen, though, right?
Yep, 100%, mate. Yeah,
so
the black and the yellow.
Yeah, we've added a little bit of detail in the new kits, which is, of course, and this is my last part of commercial today, is available on our store as well now for everyone that wants it. Chris, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing very well. Taking a relaxing approach to FIFA at the moment. Loving the pro clubs. Having a really great time in there. I know results haven't always went our way, but I think the improvement in the team is for everybody to see. It's night and day from when we first started. And as I say, take a bit of relaxing time and FUT. Played weekend league for the first time in ages and managed to get 11 wins, taking it very relaxing. So strangely, it was quite a good result for me.
I have to be quite honest. Since I got the FIFA23 beta, I have not touched the gameplay side of FIFA22 anymore. I was building my team. I did pack some really good players, but I'm not actively playing even during preseason, because I think for us it's more important to get to know the new game into details. Mm-hmm. So not every minute, but every 12 minutes I can get, I'm playing a game on the FIFA 23 version so far. But that ends next week, so I might still have 2 weeks of FIFA 22 left on my return.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. I've got the beta as well. I'm mixing it between that and the 22. And I'll not say too much, because I'm not allowed to talk about the beta, but there is some interesting features in there.
Yeah, although we can definitely talk about the features that has been announced. We just can't show gameplay or tell our opinion about it, I guess. I don't know exactly what the rules are, but I really don't want to get burned by that. But we can say, do you like it?
Well, I'm smiling. I'm saying I'm smiling. I very much took what Dan said about it being evolution, not revolution. I think that's close to the mark there. There's some interesting features. The chemistry one is I think is well known. But I think EA's done quite a good job in terms of gameplay of helping you through that. I'll not tell you all the specifics about it, but once you get used to the chemistry, I think, as well as actually the way the game's been set up, that allows it to get quite a decent way of working it out. Strange, but we're getting there with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much used to the new chemistry style. I quite like it. I think it's easier to get full chem on every player when you just have a full nation like or full country like before. And I think it makes it easier to build any kind of hybrid, except you won't get maximum bonus on all the hybrids, which I actually don't care, because if I can choose to put the Neymar in there without having any French players around him or French league players around him, but still be able to use him without bonuses, is probably better than any left winger from any other league. So, and I really like the fact that you can put a left winger at center defender if you want, but he won't count towards any bonuses and he won't count towards his own bonuses. And I really like that style. I think the teams I've faced are more creative, or at least more realistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So far,
and I think the people who are playing the beta as well, as they're looking to enjoy the game. It certainly feels a more fun game, doesn't it? I think we've not got to the meta part yet. I'm sure that'll come once people get their head around the game for fully, and I'm sure we'll get meta soon enough. But it's nice not to have it at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's people now play to get used to the game and learn new things instead of winning every single match. I think that's the difference, because you get rewards now every single day. You get packs added and stuff. So it is not like you play for rewards, and you can't keep anything either. Yeah. So when the game hits, you start just as everyone else.
Yeah, I cannot wait until Kyle Walker, right back, 80 or 85 rated, makes a huge difference to my team.
I quite like that period of the game, honestly.
It's actually quite nice. I mean, at the moment, we've got 99 Lewandowski, and I'm sure he's got massive amounts of dupes. I know you mentioned the 85 plus 10. I'll not steal your thunder about when that's coming, but I've got some really high-level dupes, and this part of the game is more about fun, isn't it?
It is, and I think same goes for FIFA 22, though, because I, for example, packed Ben Yedder, and I completely oversaw the fact that he had a footies SBC. So people were like, "Yeah, you're using the team of the season, Ben Yedder. What are you doing?" Well, that's so bad then, but hey, that's how far off I was of FIFA 22 on the moment. Preseason, though, got delayed this Friday, Chris. The guys did a whole podcast about it. Go check it out. It was brilliantly timed. We actually had brought the podcast out that same night for everyone, so everyone could listen to the opinions about that. But it actually took, I think, 15 or 17 minutes after we put out the podcast that the preseason did kick off officially, which make the whole podcast a bit redundant, but I guess that's when you want to report ASAP, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to EA, I mean, we did go quite hard on them on Friday. I think it was just a big bit of annoyance. Again, we find ourselves in the same boat as we have been for, we could list this podcast could last for hours, the amount of times that there have been problems, hasn't there? I mean, the players have released, I mean, we were talking earlier there about the top 100. Do you feel that's enough? I know it says squad 1. I don't know if there's a second squad to come, but do you feel the 100 is enough players at this time in the game? I
think it's silly. I'm going to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, sure, the top 100 rated players are basically in packs now. I think it's top 100 rated players, right? Yeah.
Right,
Pretty sure. But at least there's 100 special cards in packs. I'll show you an example, though. Today was the release of the Twitch Prime pack, which, of course, gave us some really cool cards, 82 plus, I think. And it had a 82 plus player pick in it, which is rather cool. But when I did an 82 plus pack like 2 weeks ago in Footies, I had a big chance of packing some cool stuff. But now it would be the time where an 82 plus pack would just get you a special card. And I posted also a picture of it, what I actually got from it. And I don't play the game right now. So for me, it actually doesn't matter too much, but it was more of an insight in what it would give you. So Ingvi did the 82 plus pick, and he got 182 rated gold card, 183 gold card, a 96 rated Suarez, and then 191 Zimmerman. Oh, that's pretty neat. You're on a 96 Suarez. And even if you got the 91, not too bad. I did the same pick, of course, from the Twitch Prime pack. I had an 83 rated Højbjerg, an 83 rated Lamar, an 85 rated Hazard, and an 83 rated Hardecki goalkeeper. All rare gold cards. And I don't, like I said, I don't care about what it's actually in it, right? But I think at this stage of the season, we should get all players back, and you should just enjoy it. Like, whole team for the season. I don't care. Left winger from Feyenoord, Sinistera. Oh, cool card, might be cool. Let's try it or not. I think that this is, it feels a little bit like stalling because you have 2 weeks or 3 weeks almost from September 1st when the beta ends until FIFA 23 hits officially. And I think, well, September 1st hit, then they probably bring in everything. We got 1 more week of, hey, there's another 100, and then they bring in everything. This last, why not just now, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're at the end of school, aren't we? You know, it's the day when you bring in your board games, etc., and have a bit of fun the last few days of school.
I never went when that stage happened. I think that's the same for me now.
But I mean, I think EA can certainly make it a bit more fun. But we've got just over a month to go. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, I've had a look at the rewards, and it seems quite decent. You know, in terms of the if I read it right, there's some decent rewards coming out for FIFA 23. So it's well worth doing. You know, if you're in FIFA 22 at the moment, try to do as much as possible and get yourselves those rewards for FIFA 23. You may pack something really decent. There is a fair amount of packs available, and you'll get chemistry styles, etc.
When do you get through them all?
I think I don't actually know. I don't want to give people any false dates, but I think it's worth doing, John. I think you might pack something fairly decent. I think try to find the. Here we go. Trying to find it here. Should have been more organised.
That's all right.
I think you get fairly early in the game, aren't you? I think it's October time as well. And I think, am I right in saying that maybe now that the bonus is gone as well in terms of the...
Actually, tonight, when we are recording this, it is still there. When you wake up and listen to the public feed of this podcast, it's probably not there anymore. And the bonus is one to watch player and one... of those really cool hand-drawn Marvel Heroes cards.
Oh, I hate them.
I'm poking the berry. I've listened to the podcast and I get Chris.
Yeah, you know exactly. And, I was going to just quickly say this is a Kickstarter Part 1. Basically, you're getting 3 rare gold players from the top five leagues there. So well worth doing. You know, hopefully you get something really decent in there. And then a warm-up pack, which is 2 rare gold players and 5 rare contracts as well. And I imagine there'll be some, and to be fair to EA, actually in FIFA 22 themselves, those SBCs, which you can actually do with bronze players, are giving you 5 85 plus cards, which in your place, John, would be all gold rare, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but still, it is good. I just wish that we got everything back in packs.
Yeah,
that's my only thing with So when I wouldn't have a FIFA 23 to already play, I would play the heck out of this because, hey, it prepares for the new season and you can, it's important, like Stephen Covey says, it's important to keep the saw sharpened, right? But I currently don't feel obligated to play even though these packs or these things are now in. Quite honestly, make up in 2 weeks anyway. So I think the preseason things, this is cool. It can give it head start, but it basically is also made to keep you playing and buy FIFA 23. For someone who also already, of course, buys the game because, hey, it's the job, so we got to play them anyways. We'll make up for those packs probably within the first 2 weeks anyways because the amount of time we have to play the game. So I'm currently not doing it, but I think if it's not necessarily your job, it won't hurt you focusing on these SPCs and objectives because why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's free cards. It's handy as well. And as I say, I was going to ask you, John, just to say there about job and just on that thing there about the game being fun in FIFA 22 at the moment. What tips would you give people to do? So frame this properly. What advice would you give to someone to do? The game's fun at the moment, so what should they be learning skill-wise that they don't do at the moment for FIFA 23? What could they actually do when they, for me, we've talked about earlier, is this, I don't know what it's called, the double icon thing. What tips would you give for people for, the second man marker then? I don't use it, but I'm trying to use it for FIFA 22 as it's got more relaxed. Yeah.
Well, of course, it's wildly dependent on the level you are at. And which do, but there's always some basic things in the game or skills in this game which will transfer to the next game, and that might not be in your pack already. So this is actually the perfect time to practice those things. So, for example, we still coach, right? And I've been coaching this week. There's people that don't necessarily know how to trigger manual runs. So if you tap the R1 button once, the player will come towards you. And if you tap it L1 button once, the player will go for a long run away from you, right? So you can manually trigger those runs. That is still in FIFA 23. It is very effective. In FIFA 23, you can actually tap it twice to trigger 2 players at the same time, which is a really cool addition. So, of course, you can't practice the triggering of both players towards you in this edition yet, but you can make it yours that you, for example, take a match and say, you know what, this match, I'm going to make sure I'll trigger a run before I make a pass, just to get used to the mechanic. Green time shooting will still be in the new game, and it is still highly effective, although I still don't get why people say turn it off, because there is a huge difference if you master it. Why not try green time shooting now? It won't change much.
Yeah.
The player you have in a new game will be less effective at because they're lower rated. But if you know where to look for, you can make it your own now. Tackling, holding the L2 button and making a correct tackle on the manual tackle is even more important in FIFA 23. Why not attempt it right now? It won't hurt you, right? I think those things are cool. I think dynamic runs. So you know those runs which I just mentioned, clicking the L1, for example, sending a player away. If you do that and right away flick your right stick into a direction, the player will not run away from you in a straight line, but he will run towards the direction you just flicked your stick in. It's called a dynamic run. I hardly see people use it, but it is very much unpredictable if you do it right. I always forget the name of it, quite honestly, but if you click both sticks at the same time, you suddenly switch your player to the player that could be receiving the ball. There's a mechanic which is really hard to master, but on crosses, on making a free run, making a through ball, it can be really, really effective to do so. But it's not something you learn in a day or two to do correctly. You know how to trigger it, how to do correctly and make it part of your own. So when I say to master it, all these things you can listen to us, check out a YouTube video, check the instruction manual. There's no instruction manual, but you know everywhere where you can do it, right? Goes for a certain skill moves as well. Although I'm quite unsure. I'm quite sure which skill moves you should practice for the new game, but I'm not going to tell everyone yet. Because it might get, not because I don't want to inform everyone, but I know for a fact it probably will change a bit because of the feedback.
Of course.
And I won't want people to practice that move and it would be cancelled before the new game actually hits. We've seen that last year. I'm not going to make the same mistake. But when I say master a certain aspect, it's not knowing how to do it. It is doing it at the correct time without having to think about it.
Yeah.
And that requires time because clicking the button and know when something triggers, like those runs, everyone knows now. Listen to the podcast now. You know L1 will trigger a long run. R1 will trigger a run towards you. Period. But making that and doing that without actually thinking about it and making it part of your game, that requires time. And I think the next we still have 29 days left, I think, before the official pre-release and about 33 days for the official release, or 32 days. Make that time efficient. But if you do the objectives anyways, or do these things anyways, or still play, then try it. Go ahead. And of course, we give personal advice on what we see at players, but these are like the top things I can already mention. And most people that will now listen or look at us will probably know, I could maybe try this one. Is that a good idea? Just try it. Just make sure that whenever you're practicing, it's still in FIFA 23. And if it's not in the pitch notes, in the deep dive, that it has been removed, I can already say it's definitely still in.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's treating the pre-season as pre-season for your FIFA 23 at the moment, isn't it? But treating the FIFA 22 as pre-season for FIFA 23, get yourself some extra tools in your toolbox and make the game a better thing. And again, no, I'm ever paid to say it, but I'll say it all the time, John, is if you want to get yourself to the next level, foot coaching is the ideal place to go. The guys are brilliant. I use it myself, and I can heartily recommend it.
Yeah, we didn't bribe you, though, to say that. Just that.
Still, you can tell, I haven't got my new shirt yet. So
that's also true. Yeah, we kept it. I can tell Ryan how to deliver it at you. Now you've said the magic words.
No problem, mate.
No, but that's something I would do. I think we also have a question about this, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
That question came from KC6, from Ken. Ken, thank you for sending in your question. Ken says, what is your recommendation to get prepared for FIFA 23? For example, I'm planning on getting back to the basics and play 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2 for the remainder of FIFA 22, and would like to get your thoughts. Well, I think basically I just said it. And concerning formation, I think 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2 will always be really solid starting formations for every single player in a FIFA X. Every game you can pretty much start with that formation, practice that in the old style, so to speak, in the older game, and hit the ground running. And before we actually discover what's really good or effective or what's broken, will be like a month further anyway. So start off with those formations, 4-2-3-1 or the 4-4-2. I think is a fairly good bet.
Yeah, 4-2-3-1 is my go-to. I use the formation that you use, John. I've tweaked it ever so slightly with the players increasing in rating, etc. What I would say is basically just treat the game just as a bit of fun at the moment. So, and be more relaxed when you're playing the game, and then you'll start to pick up these skills. And it's even if you're playing against a really good player, maybe better than yourself. I don't know what level he's at. But if you come up against a good player, stick at it and then actually try those moves when you're playing against these good players. It will be difficult at first, and as you get better at it, then that, as you say, will become second nature, and that will make the experience in FIFA 23 a whole lot better.
Yeah, for sure. My top tip would be turn off messages.
Well, seen that tonight, haven't we? So, I still cannot believe that people message people those sort of things in August.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mental.
Yeah, there's just a lot of... there's always been a lot of toxic players, I think. Like, you can't... we've had a discussion, what can you actually do about toxic players, or what can the EA do about it? There's not too much I quite think they could do about it, because all this messaging is through Xbox, is through PlayStation itself. People find us on our socials whenever they play us as well and message us, right? So it doesn't matter if you win. If you win, it's because you get paid to do so. If you lose, you suck because you get paid to do so. It's always the same. And I would just advise to turn off messages, generally speaking, in your console. Like, only let friends send you a message. And I know I've had a discussion on our awesome community, and people said, yeah, but it also helps me doing objectives at times. But I think for every good message you could receive, or helpful message you could receive, you get at least 5 negative ones these days. So why would you put yourself through those 5 negative ones? Because if you're playing someone on objectives and, for example, you need a goal and he wants to score, they will run their goalkeeper out if they're open for it anyways. They don't need to send a message to show you that they are willing to play along and help each other out. And if you do the same return, probably the easiest to do it anyways without sending messages. So I honestly, I always recommend just turn it off, because even if people say they don't be tilted by it, I honestly don't think it's necessarily true, because I see so many people sending us messages. Hey, you've seen this message. Look at this message. Aha, you are reacting to a message, which takes off your focus of the game. You get that pop-up message, and no matter how focused you are, if you see a pop-up message, people always look. And we've seen that with pro players that have the phone next to when playing, and even if they got the WhatsApp message, they even look down for a second, and even if it's just a second, it takes your mind off the game, so it breaks your mindset. I want to ask you, Chris, do you have your messages turned on?
I don't have my messages turned on. I do, though, will thank everybody who gives me a win. So if I play someone and they give me a few, and I always make sure I make a point of thanking them. Sometimes the messages are turned off and I can't do it, but I always make sure I do that. I think that's only politeness to do that. I have messaged people in the past when they've been acting toxic to say, why are you acting toxic? I want to say to people is, try and have an argument on Twitter with someone. It's exactly the same thing. You're typing, they're not listening to you, you're not really listening to them. It is a waste of time. The best thing I can suggest is if you get a toxic message, just send somebody 3 love hearts and leave it at that. That'll make them even more tilted if you do that.
Yeah, or don't. Just don't react.
But if you feel
kill him with silence.
I kill him with silence. But actually, if you get something, and to be fair, some of them can be quite funny. To be fair, I always send love hearts. So if you get a love heart from me, then it's meant.
Yeah, that's fair though. What are your plans for FIFA 22 so far? For the remainder?
I'm going to just take it. I love the objective. I've got to quickly ask you, John. Do you feel that Golden Goal will carry forward in FIFA 23, or is it an end of game cycle mode?
That's a good question. You know my opinion about the whole goal movement, so I don't necessarily think we have to go into depth there.
But I'm thinking more of official point of view. Sorry, John. But the EA, do you think EA will keep cups that are golden goal?
Yeah, I reckon so. Honestly, why not? I think that's the main reason. Why not? I just think they should drop the whole game limit on objectives. Honestly, like make an objective really good, make it a top tier player, for example, and then say, okay, you need to win 8 out of the 8 available options to actually get this player. Or if you win 6, you get a -2. If you win 4, you get a -4 on the player. If you win 2, you get a -6, something like that, right? Then I can definitely see it. So then everyone gets a reward, but the more you actually win, the better your reward will be. I think that's fair. But making you have to win 6 and you only have 10 attempts, or you have to try 5 times a day, feels a little bit cheap. So I don't mind going to goal, but I would set up the rewards differently, so make it rewarding for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd like to see the rewards be maybe tailored, pulled back a little bit. I realise it's the end of the game cycle for this one, but for FIFA 23, I'd certainly like to see it. Definitely has to be lesser than Weekend League or Rivals or Squad Battles. But, you know, an 82-player pick or something like that, as we get into the game cycle, would be good fun.
Yeah, I think, honestly, with the new chemistry style in the new game, I think you'll have more options that would be viable for your squad anyway. And with the markets being combined, with more options being available for the team, I could also see the prices for players going down. Of course, all speculation. I have no insight in marketing. You can follow our special Patreon podcast for that, of course. But I feel like rewards matter. But this year as well, right? I've always said, don't play Weekend League for rewards. Don't play Rivals for rewards. You just... If you get something out of it, it's of course brilliant. It's very nice. I can't remember the last time I got a good red pick, for example, until Team of the Season. Team of the Season, everything was pretty decent. But before that, the Weekend League is hardly ever worth it for the reward itself. But volume of cards are always worth it because of SBCs. That's why I always just take untradeable. Whatever gives me the most packs, the most cards, player cards, I take as picks so I can use them later, no matter what I pick. Like, no matter what I get out of a pack, it's probably worth it because of the volume of cards I've got in my club. And I go in there for, okay, I'm picking up my rival rewards. That means I got 1 red pick, which I can probably toss into an SPC later on. And I have another 60 players, which are safely stored in my club for later uses. If there's ever something good in it, I'm very happy with it. But that way, I'm also never disappointed in the fact that I got crap rewards, which is 9 out of 10 times anyways. Yeah, and if that one time happened, you're very happy because you didn't expect it either.
No, I think it's Golden Goals is good fun, but I don't want it to take away from the actual main game itself. I think Weekend League, Rivals, Squad Battle should always be the main part of the game.
Yes, but I think that currently is also the case. And I do the new mode, but I keep forgetting his name, so I should be better about this. Where you do single player objectives.
Yes, is it moments? You call
moments,
it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, moments.
Thing is, I'm always thinking about moments. I'm always thinking about icons, so that's what makes it confusing for me. But I'm an old man, so I'll get used to that anyways. But moments I really like. It's like setting a platinum trophy on PlayStation and saying, you know what, I need to do this in this amount of time, or I need to do this in this situation to get a reward or get this to unlock. And you can also increase the difficulty to get more rewards from it, which you can then exchange for packs or whatever. Certain play. I think that's a really cool mode, which could give proper challenges. It's also a really cool mode for practicing certain aspects because it has a tutorial mode, right? So you learn how to take a free kick, but you get rewarded if you actually pull it off. Tackle, passing, etc. So I think it's really cool. It does with skill moves. If they like implement the skill move set where you can do this skill move and score, and you get 1 star, then people actually learn good things as well. So I think it's actually far better than any tutorial they actually have in a game. And it is pretty cool because once you get higher up, the story modes and so you can unlock certain players or loan cards from certain players, and you can do it. And this is very important. You can do it in a minute or two. So every attempt costs you, I don't know, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, depending on what it is, right? And you learn from it because you always start at the same moment. So, for example, it says, hey, do a lob, a true ball lob, right? And they show you this is how you do it. And you start a match in the 55th minute, and you are in a position to do so. You fail, you press start, you press restart. Because of the speed of the consoles, it instantly is back, and you do it again, and you do it again, until you succeed. And once you succeed, you're like, oh, I actually know how to do this. And they build upon that. It's a really cool way of learning the game properly. It's a really cool way of sending out mechanics, like learning mechanics. I think it's also a really cool way of getting rewards, which are very much optional, but could very much be really nice to have. Yeah. And you can do it in that moment of your time. So if you're waiting for, I don't know, for the rewards and it's still 10 minutes, do 2 or 3 of those. If you're waiting to record a podcast, start one. Do it, right? If you're waiting for your favorite streamer to pop on, do 1, do 2. It won't hurt. It's really cool. And I think that's a single player mode, which I am actually very much liking, which I didn't know I would say on a FIFA related podcast ever.
No, definitely.
Maybe I'm bored by the end of the month, though, but still. Currently,
it'll be interesting if they keep, as long as they keep it fresh, John. I think that's the issue. I think I'd find with it is if they keep it fresh. But it's fair play for them for trying something new. You know, if they try something new and it doesn't work well, we've not lost anything. We've still got the main parts of the game that we love, and hopefully this is here to stay. The moment,
yeah, for sure,
big success
for sure. So we got that going. I actually don't know much news. I think most of the news has been out now. Everyone's playing the beta. They're tuning the beta. We do differ very much on what they do with the Marvel Heroes cards. And actually, I totally get what you're saying. So, funny story. I was listening to the podcast while traveling this weekend, right? Which is also weird listening to your podcast while you're actually not on. But hey, that's a different story. So I was listening to the podcast with my family in the car. And they said, and all of them said, that's really weird. Why is that in the game? And I was like, yeah, but isn't that cool though, right? That is something different. Yeah, but what has to do with each other? Do those companies need each other? Like, does Marvel need EA? Does EA need Marvel? There's nothing to do except for the name of heroes. Doesn't it look weird when you have the players in front of you? I'm like, yeah, I get your point, honestly, as well.
Yeah, I mean that was my point exactly. Was when you've got your team set up and then you've got this weird looking superhero at left wing. Surely that's it. If it was Star Wars, I think you and I would both be delighted.
I would care less, right? It's like, yeah, let's go for it.
Let's get all the man.
I think that's also it, because if you're not a fan of Marvel, but I think there's a big audience for that is a fan of both, since Marvel is just now pop culture, anyways, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they've done an amazing job when you consider where they were. I don't know how long ago before the first Spider-Man or first Iron Man.
20 years ago, they almost went bankrupt. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's amazing. They've done an amazing job, to be fair. And the cards look cool.
Well, what's next? That's the issue. Like here.
Well, that's that. How do you top it?
My daughter said, what's next? Do you guys have Lego cards in the game? I was like,
that's what could be.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, right? Where do you draw the line? So, we don't want Fortnite where you have Darth Vader and Goku in the same squad. That would be weird. Yeah, and that might end up being so. But on the other side, I packed 3 heroes this year. I packed 2 of them last week. So how many we actually see.
Well, it'd be interesting. We all have. I suppose you could have David Ginola dressed as Han Solo. That would be a good one.
Well, but Ginola is like the only card last year that was viable.
Yeah.
So they look a bit more viable, all of them now, except Peter Crouch. I'm really sorry, but that just looks silly. I don't think you can have a striker that tall. And you guys compared him to Wout Weghorst, but he's got 99 strength. And I'm pretty sure Peter Crouch won't have. But I think most of them are viable on paper. But when they release, we don't know how far the power curve will be. So if they release in November when the World Cup starts, and we already had a couple of batches with promos, they might still not be viable either way. So maybe you won't even see them at all.
No, I mean, I doubt very much many of us are going to pack Rudy Voller. Let's be honest. I don't see many going to see that. We're going to have the lower rated ones. I mean, I got Solskjaer. He was a good card. I enjoyed playing with him. I really enjoyed that card. But the top tier ones are, how many has packed a Janela?
Quite honestly, JJ might be really good now.
Yeah.
Because he's more viable. The good stat cards are out earlier than normal as Moments card would be. And he's still a 5-star player, so what's the harm in doing that? So it says advantage or not, we have no idea about price points. We have no idea how sharp they are. And it's the same with one to watch, right? You get them as a bonus, so you get a free card. The chance to actually get a good card is slim to none. I got Wijnaldum last year, which was even one of the best because did I get Wijnaldum? No, Wijnaldum was an SBC. I'm pretty sure I didn't get Ronaldo, and I was the only one that actually mattered, I guess. And Hakimi, I didn't get either of those. But I think the same goes this year. We don't know. The first one to watch card has been released today, of course. That's Haaland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Haaland.
Which, if you get him, you'll be very happy. But there's been so many transfers.
Boatloads of goals.
There's been so many transfers this year that the chance you get a one to watch is actually worth having. We've seen it this year. There's plenty of times where a Messi or I don't know if Ronaldo got a thing, but Messi got a one to watch, I'm pretty sure. That Messi scored a beautiful goal, and now this weekend he'll get that special inform, and he still didn't get it. So unless they change one to watch, I don't think those cards are.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they tweak Team of the Week. I think that's due to be tweaked, isn't it? I mean, we've talked about that many a time.
Nothing yet, though, so we didn't hear anything.
No,
about
but
it
I'd like to think they will, John. I think that's a concept that's probably ran its course now. We were very critical of it last year. Some of the teams that came out were absolutely terrible. So hopefully, they might do something in terms of
the good thing about this is though, here I've got to make a difference, or maybe a different opinion on them. Mm-hmm. So, Team of the Week is an issue because it brings out a player which might be look good, but you can't fit him in anyways. Mm-hmm. Right? But now you can fit him in anyways.
Yeah, that's the benefit.
So if now a Feyenoord striker or left winger suddenly gets an inform and the card looks pretty good, you don't have to rebuild your team to use him.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. But I think, when you see some of those cards, they're so weak that they wouldn't make your team if they're even Prem players, and if you've got a full Prem squad. Yeah, I think there's a concept change could be doing, and as you say, I think I'd like to see as well as I think we know a situation. I think it was Mbappe when he scored a hat trick and Neymar got in because he didn't want to put his card up too high. There needs to be some sort of
all we need, Chris. All we need for Team of the Week is that they actually boost individual stats as they can, and they should doing that. So if you give a player a Team of the Week card because he scored a header, then increase his average stat with +2, right? Just as you normally would.
Yeah.
But increase his heading with +6, +5, whatever. And the next card he'll get, just take his base card again and boost that card. So then you have different versions of card which are different rated, but has different stats boosted throughout the season, for example, on the Team of the Week cards. That makes Team of the Week cards really interesting. But this year, of course, you also have that you can change position. So this is something we should not underestimate, I think. If, for example, a player now plays left back and he plays center back, like an example, Martinez yesterday played center back, played really good match actually, by the way, and he played really well there. Then you can say, okay, you know what, this one gets an alternate position of center defense midfielder, and the regular card says a left back and a center defender. That makes a Team of the Week card far more interesting and far more value than they've ever been because it gives you team dynamics and it gives you more versatility. So although the stats won't increase that much, it might actually be very much worth it. So I think this position changed might help a lot, and I would see individual boost being applied, which make Team of the Week and informs very much still hot again. Mm-hmm. And I'm not getting paid EA for this advice, but if you want to go on the podcast to talk about our advice, no issue.
Happy to have you.
We'll gladly have you, and we'll gladly give this advice for free. Let us know if you listen to this podcast, of course, or are viewing this on youtube.com/footcoaching. Then let us know what you think about Want to Watch promos, the Team of the Week cards, the inform cards, of course, and do you like or do you not like the Heroes cards? So far, I ran a poll and 49% liked it and 51% didn't like it for the 500 people that actually voted. So it's like hit or miss, really hit or miss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just don't like the idea of those cards looking like that in game. It's something about my
Well,
OCD
it's not
that just
animated
annoys
in
me.
game though, right? So in the game itself, you won't see it.
No, but just in terms of the team look, like, you've got these normal looking players and dynamic images, and then, wait a minute, I've got a superhero at left back. No, that's not for me.
I don't know, because I don't really like the purple, yellow, purple, golden, orange, white, blue cards everywhere either. So it's like, I probably won't even see it anymore, right?
It would be nice if they had a cape or something, or a mask on in the game. That would make it even more interesting.
I mean, we have, I don't know, millions and millions of colors, but most cards are blue or blue or green anyways.
Uh-huh. The pink ones are lovely. I have to say, I like the pink ones.
Of course. We've started the show 5 years ago, and we said footies before footies was actually a thing. And we really like pink, although our logo is blue as well. Might change that in the future. Anyway, Chris, thank you so much for listening to us. If you'd like to follow us, just check out Foot Coaching everywhere now. It's footcoaching.com, and of course, youtube.com/footcoaching. If you're on a audio feed of this podcast, nothing actually changed except our social handles. It's all at Foot Coaching. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, we're there. We're even on Facebook these days. Just reach out anywhere, get your question answered, and do check out the Patreon benefits, which you can find on patreon.com/Foot in Review. And don't forget, the lowest tier is just about £1 a week, so it's not that hard, not that much. Although, of course, it is hard time. And if you can't support us financially, we do really appreciate giving you that thumbs up, that follow, sub on YouTube. It's all free. Give us a 5-star review. We'll actually read it out loud. Just help us that way. Tell your friends and family about it. Or actually just play this podcast twice on your feed. Also helps. Chris, if people want to say hi to you or want to have a discussion about these awesome looking animated cards, where can they find you?
You'll get me on Twitter at GPM, and you'll also get us on our wonderful Discord under Grandpapa Mac.
Brilliant. Find me on Foot Coaching everywhere. Check out the podcast, and we'll see you next week, foodies. But for now, Chris, it is the absolute time to drop it.
Drop it.
You.